Good morning, students. Let us start the class. I was discussing about the JFET's three-dimensional structure in the last class. I will continue the same now also. You have to visualize the FET as a three-dimensional structure, maybe a cubic shape or maybe a cylindrical shape, and it is a completely N-type material around which there will be a P-type material. Now in this picture he is showing a P-type material only at the upper surface and the lower surface. That is also fine. If the FET is of a cubical structure, then it can have P-type material at the top and at the bottom, and both are shorted together and taken as a gate material. Now you can see here the drain is connected to a positive supply and the other end is connected to the source. So naturally, when the battery is negative is there, the source is going to induce electrons or inject electrons, and the electrons are going to move all the way towards the drain, because this complete region in between is N-type. But when once these electrons start moving, if the VDD is having a larger value, then what happens is there is this P, there is this N, and there is a PN diode here. This PN diode's cathode is connected to positive. So the cathode end is having a higher potential, due to which the depletion region at the drain side is of a larger size when compared to that in the source side. As of now, we need not worry much about this gate voltage. Regarding this gate voltage, I will tell you later. As I already told you, as such, as soon as we connect the power supply between drain and source, the switch is going to conduct, because it is a single N-type material and there will be a flow of current. Now, in this case of FET, it is normally on and we will have to gradually turn it off to bring it to the Q point. Whereas in BJT, it was normally off and we had to give the base current or the base supply to turn it on and bring it to the Q point. That is the major difference between these two. So now, through this gate, we are going to control the switching off of the device, not the switching on of the device. So for bringing the FET towards the middle of the load line, or to bring the FET towards the middle Q point, we will have to apply a negative gate bias. That is what is shown here. Now you can see, as the positive side is connected to the drain, there will be a larger power supply there, and if VDD is larger in value, then naturally the depletion region is also will be larger. So at one point of time, when VD is really very high, what happens here is this depletion region will extend and it may touch each other. When it touches each other, then we call it as a pinch-off region. Pinch-off region in the sense, in this region, the physical channel will not exist at all, because the complete N-type area will be depleted of the charge carriers, that is because of the extension of the depletion region. But then, until we keep on increasing VDD, current keeps on rising. Why? Because you know that V equals I into R. When R is fixed here between drain and source, it is a single N-type material, which is basically a resistive material. It is not a very high resistance. At the same time, it is not a full conductance also. It is somewhat a resistive material, and the resistance is normally constant. So when V increases, I also increases. But once this pinch-off occurs, there will not be a channel existing. At that time, you may think that the switch will turn off. No, the switch will not turn off. The switch will remain on, because the power supply is still there. When the power supply is still there, it is going to pull the electrons towards this side. So switch will remain on. As I told you in the last class, we are dealing with the quantum particles. Electrons are quantum particles, such small size particles, such small charge particles. 1 point something into 10 power minus 38 kg, that is the mass of the electron. I don't exactly remember the fractional part of that number. Similarly, 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulomb is the charge of a single electron. That means we can visualize how small it can be, whether it is a particle or a wave is a question, or is it an energy is a question. So even if the pinch off occurs, electrons can still move, because there are two currents called drift current and diffusion current. Drift current is due to the applied electric field, whereas diffusion current is due to the movement of the charge carriers from the region of higher concentration to the region of lower concentration. For example, in the rainy season, when the streams and the rivers are overflowing, we can say that that is drift current, because there is heavy supply of water because of the rain and streams are overflowing. But when the onset of summer season comes, there will still be water flowing in those rivers and in the streams. We can call it as a diffusion current, because at that time the flow of water will be almost constant, but it will still be moving because the water is moving from the region of higher concentration to the region of lower concentration that way. From a fountain somewhere, the water is going to come out of the earth's surface and it is going to move all the way, maybe to meet another river or maybe to meet the sea or the ocean. So you can have this analogy. Drift current means during rainy season, whenever water is overflowing, that is because of the abundant supply of water. Similarly, diffusion current means the water which is flowing, which is almost constant. Same way in FET, when we apply voltage and when there is no pinch off, then it is called as drift current. But whenever pinch off occurs, current becomes constant because of the pinch off, that is called as diffusion current. So, switch will not turn off, switch will remain on only. Now, with this revision, let me proceed further to the next slide. You can see this picture where this itself is now pinch off. You can see between drain and source, the power supply is there, VDS, and there is a touching of the depletion regions from both the sides. That is why at that time that VDS is called as VP. That VP is the voltage at which pinch off occurs. That's why VP itself is called as pinch off voltage. Here the gate voltage is not important for us, because right now we are connecting gate to ground itself. Now whatever I have told, the VDS, when it is increasing until certain point of VDS, current keeps on increasing, because when V increases, I increases. V equals I into R. That R is constant here between drain and source. Now when this VDS reaches VP, between the drain to source, when the voltage reaches the pinch off voltage, that is when the depletion region touch, and when they touch, there will be no more channel existing. But at that time you can see the current becomes constant. The current reaches to a certain level and later on current cannot increase. Even when voltage increases, current cannot increase because there is no channel. When there is no channel, still current keeps flowing because of the applied voltage, because of the diffusion current. So if this is understood, you have understood the FET. But you can see the curve from BJT and the curve from JFET, in what way they are different, you can slightly observe. Can anyone tell me? You can unmute and tell me, or you can put it in the chat box. By looking at these output characteristics, can any of you tell me what difference do you find between the BJT's output curve and the FET's output curve?
Sir, maybe in case of FET, like it takes more time to reach the saturation level compared to BJT.
Okay. No, my question was, what difference do you find in the curve itself when you compare it with BJT? Anyway, let me annotate and let me show you the difference. In case of BJT, current rises like this and afterwards current's curve becomes like this. In BJT also current becomes almost constant, but in BJT current does not become fully constant, because in BJT there is no pinch off at all. BJT is a current control device. So the collector current will not become absolutely constant, but in FET you can see the current becomes absolutely constant. In that way, FET is a better switch when compared to BJT. That is the idea here. You recall the BJT's curve, which I have written crudely here, and up to some extent the current will keep on rising. Slope is larger here. You can see the slope is larger here, but here the slope is like this. Now here the resistance of the BJT is lesser. Here the resistance of the BJT is more. Now that is the BJT's response. Now let me stop annotating. Here you can see, again let me annotate. In FET, now here there is a slope, and here what is the slope? It is very difficult for me to take a slope because it is almost constant, which means when the FET is reaching the pinch off, the drain current becomes much more constant than the BJT. In BJT, even then also current will have a slight rise, but in FET there will not be any rise because there is no channel at all. In BJT the channel keeps existing, right? There is no channel in BJT. There are junctions and there are regions. So emitter and collector, in between a small base is there. But here between drain and source, the depletion region is expanding and pinch off is happening. That is how FET is a better switch when compared to BJT. And because of this reason, all the integrated circuits which are used in our laptops or desktops or mobile phones, all of them are used with the FET itself. All the digital circuits which we use like CPU, memory, microprocessor, microcontroller, adders, multipliers, registers, counters, flip-flops, whichever digital circuitry we are using, they are all made up of MOSFET only, because the switching of MOSFET is much sharper when compared to BJT. Okay, that is why I was telling you earlier that BJT is almost obsolete. But in BJT we can apply KVL and KCL. It is easy to understand BJT. We can easily apply the equations and we can arrive at the expressions for the output current, output voltage, input current, gain, all those things. But in FET it is not that easy, because here we cannot apply Kirchhoff's voltage law so easily. Why is that? I will tell you later on. Anyhow, those basics we will cover up. The basic reason is, there in BJT there is that IB, base current, then there is beta, IC by IB. But in case of MOSFET, there is no IG. There is no gate current here. You can see the gate is connected to ground. There is no gate current here at all, which means for the MOSFET to conduct, gate current is not required. It is normally on. We have to switch it off now. For switching it off, we have to apply negative gate voltage actually. Now there is a diode which is reverse biased. This diode will never conduct. The diode between gate and drain is always remaining reverse biased because of this VDS, and it will never conduct. If it conducts, then it is a short circuit and the device will fail. That is why to the gate we will never apply positive voltage at all. In case of a N-channel FET, to the gate we will never apply positive voltage at all. If we apply any positive voltage, this diode will short circuit and the device will fail. We will either connect it to 0, or later on we are going to connect a negative gate voltage, which means in the FET there is no gate current at all. That is why it is called as a field effect transistor. It is working through the electric field. Control is by the electric field and control is not by the gate current. Whereas in BJT, the control is by means of the base current. So if it is thoroughly understood about the basics of the FET, let me proceed now. Beyond pinch off, IDS becomes almost constant and is denoted as IDSS, current from drain to source, and it is pinch off. Hence, this region in the curve is called as saturation region, and the device acts like a current source. Now, I want any of you to tell me now, as far as BJT is concerned, I want you to tell me which region is called as cutoff, which region is called as saturation, and which region is called as active. I have already discussed this earlier. No one is telling. They are all silently waiting. Let someone else tell. What? You should unmute and tell. Okay, anyway, Sayan is telling that the lowest region is cutoff region. Correct. Where is the saturation region? The lowest region is cutoff. That is fine. But
Sir,
where is
saturation is on the left hand side, like extreme left hand side of the graph.
fine? Extreme left side of the graph is saturation, and the lower side is cutoff, and the upper side is active in case of BJT. This was in case of BJT. Now, in case of MOSFET, there is a slight difference in this terminology. In case of MOSFET, I will annotate here now. Whatever we called as active region in BJT, in MOSFET we call it as saturation level or saturation region. And whatever we called as cutoff region in BJT, that is the same. This itself is the cutoff region. This itself is the cutoff region. I cannot write cutoff so easily. Okay, this itself is cutoff region now. I will have to struggle here. Let it be. Now, this region is called as saturation in BJT, but this region is called as linear region in MOSFET. I will simply write LIN. Now, remember this. In BJT, whatever of the lower portion that was called cutoff region, that is the same in case of FET also, that is called as cutoff region. But whatever was called as saturation region in BJT, that was the complete turning on situation of BJT. Here, it is called as linear region. Okay. And whatever is called as saturation region in MOSFET or FET, that was called as active region in BJT. Please remember this. In the active region, the switch is half on and half off. In the linear region, switch is fully on because across the switch the voltage is lesser. Across the switch and the voltage is lesser when the current is more, then we say the switch is fully on. Now across the switch when the current is very less and the voltage is high, we say the switch is fully off. Now this is that on region and this is that off region. But in between, it is the half on region. There in BJT, we used to call it as active region. Here we are calling it as saturation region. This is a very important point which you people have to remember. This is not clearly mentioned in the textbooks, but you will have to remember this important point. Now you may think why they confuse with all these wordings. In BJT, they called this area as saturation region, and in MOSFET, they call this area as saturation region. Why they create confusion? They did not create confusion. Actually, the scientists who invented BJT were different, and the scientists who invented FET, they were different. They were working separately in different places altogether. And it was a team of scientists. It was not one or two people. Walter Brattain, William Shockley, John Bardeen. These three people were given Nobel Prize in 1947 for inventing BJT. And they thought to name the lower side as cutoff, the left side as saturation, and the upper level as active, because they were thinking about the Q point at that time. But the scientists who invented FET, they are different and they are at different places. They did not communicate with each other. They never had such communication when so many scientists were working on all these devices. So this team of scientists, they thought this is cutoff region because switch is off. They called this region as linear region. The left hand side's portion, they called it as linear region. Why? Because here it is working like a resistor, right? This is a N channel which is basically working like a resistor, constant resistor. where throughout you can see a slope that is constant. So whatever is linear is basically following that y equals mx plus c or v equals I into r. So they call this region as linear region, and they call this region as saturation region just because current is saturating here. There in BJT they call that region as saturation region because the switch is completely on and the current is maximum at that time. But here also current is maximum, but current is maximum and constant here. That is why they call this region as saturation region. This you have to remember always. IDSS is the maximum drain current for a JFET and is defined by the conditions VGS equals 0 volts and VDS is greater than or equal to VP. See, this is that IDSS. This is the maximum drain current that is possible for a JFET, but at that time get to source voltage is 0 and the VDS is equal to VP. Even if VDS is increased more than VP, current remains constant. That is what is shown in the picture here, N channel resistance, and that is the increasing resistance due to the narrowing channel. And in the saturation region, there will be almost infinite resistance because we cannot easily find the slope for this horizontal line. We should say that the slope for the horizontal line is infinity now. So naturally, resistance will also be reaching to infinity in the saturation region. That is why it is acting like a current source. With positive values of VGS, the device becomes a complete conductor and causes IGS as well. But we don't want this. As I told you, if at all we give a gate to source voltage which is positive, the PN diode will conduct. If the PN diode conducts, then there is a gate to source current there. But we don't want it to happen. Why? Because the diode will short circuit. Namburu Ramalakshman, does he belong to this section? It is telling that he is waiting in the lobby, but it is saying not signed in or external user, he is a guest, it is telling. I don't know what is this. Does he belong to this section? Can anybody tell me?
Sir, he belongs to the same section.
Okay, let me admit him. Fine. So we will not be applying positive gate voltage to JFET at all. For the N channel JFET, we will not apply positive gate voltage at all because it is going to be destructive. In order to have a control over the conduction, VGS needs to be applied as negative. This point I have been telling you from the beginning. If you want to turn this transistor towards saturation region now, whatever in BJT we called it as active region, we are going to call this as saturation region now. Which means if we want to use this FET as an amplifier now, as an analog circuit now, then we have to set a Q point. If you have to set a Q point, then we will have to apply VGS negative. Again, one more person, Lokesh. So VGS needs to be applied as negative such that saturation is reached at a lower level of VDS. I will show this in the next slide now. Look at this now. We are going to apply a negative gate voltage between gate and source, and the drain to source voltage remains positive. Now what happens is, you can see the pinch off is not occurring as such so easily because we are actually turning off the device by applying a negative gate voltage. Now you can see when VGS is 0, the IDSS, value of IDSS is much larger because it takes a finite amount of time for the pinch off to occur, and until then current keeps increasing. But when VGS is negative, we are purposefully applying a negative gate voltage to turn off the device now. When we try to turn off the device, when VGS is negative, you can see that pinch off occurs and the maximum current is lesser actually. IDSS is lesser because we are not allowing the transistor to conduct fully by applying a negative gate bias. But here also, saturation region is there, linear region is there, cutoff region is still there. Okay, only thing is, by applying a negative voltage, the value of IDSS is going to get reduced. And when we apply VGS equals -2, you can still see the value of IDSS is reducing. That means we are making it to come towards the middle of the load line. That region we later on call it as Q point. Now when VGS is -4 volts, -3 volts, you can see when VGS is -4 volts, then the drain current is 0. That means when VGS is -4 volts, switch is completely off because this diode gets completely reverse biased. When this diode gets completely reverse biased, it may not allow the passage of current also through the device. Because whenever this diode is reverse biased this side also, you can see P is connected to negative and N is connected to positive. Other side, other day we had seen this side is also N, that is also connected to positive here. Here P is connected to negative. So there is a larger amount of reverse bias here now. Whenever we apply a negative gate bias, there is a larger amount of reverse bias. Because of the larger amount of the reverse bias, the transistor may not conduct at all. Pinch off may occur much earlier now. So you can see here, when VGS is reaching -4 volts, then it is not conducting, and that is equivalent to pinch off itself now. That means transistor is not conducting anymore. There is no drift current. In this last case, there is no diffusion current also because of the excessive reverse bias. Reverse bias will be there from both sides now, both from the drain side and both from the gate side. Then we can say that whatever was the pinch off here, it was occurring at 4 volts. The same pinch off will occur when VGS is applied to as -4 volts. So we can say that pinch off is that voltage during which the transistor may turn into cutoff region also. Both are synonymous that way. Which means if you don't apply a gate voltage, let us say if you apply a gate voltage which is 0, then pinch off occurs at a particular voltage. That is 4 volts here. You can see this now. I will mark this point. You can see this dashed line. Here we have this 4 volts. When VGS is 0, you can see when VGS is 0. When VGS is 0, pinch off occurs at 4 volts. But you can see, and pinch off occurs even when VGS is -4 volts. That is nothing but the same voltage at which the transistor completely turns off. Actually, pinch off is nothing but the N channel turning off, but diffusion current is existing. I hope you understood this. That is when this switch is really a beautiful switch. I told you FET is better than BJT in this sense. It is a beautiful switch in the sense we will have to turn it off by applying a negative gate voltage. Otherwise, it is always on. And in between, we can use it as an amplifier also by setting the Q point. But for setting the Q point, we will not be using those resistors here, because at the input there is no current at all. At the gate there is no gate current at all because it is reverse bias. When there is no gate current, then there is no point in controlling through a resistor. Okay. There is a question that when VGS is 0, diffusion current is 0. No, when VGS is 0, diffusion current is constant. You can see here, no? When VGS is 0, it is reaching to a IDSS, that is maximum 8 milliampere. IDSS will become 0 when VGS is -4 volts. That is the meaning there. See, pinch off means what? Pinch off means the depletion region is touching. The depletion region touches when VGS is 0 volts at a point of 4 volts when VDS is 4 volts. But when VGS is -4 volts, then also pinch off is only occurring, but the amount of reverse bias is much larger in such a way that there will not be any current flowing through the device also, not even diffusion current, because there is no applied feed as such. So that is when we equate VGS and VP in this manner. So I will repeat this explanation once again. Pinch off voltage is the voltage at which current becomes constant for a zero gate bias. But the current becomes constant even when current is zero also, and at that time also pinch off occurs when the gate to source voltage is reaching the pinch off value itself, but in the negative direction. See, here Vp is 4 volts, but here VGS is minus 4 volts. When VGS is 0 volts, Vp is 4 volts. You can see this, no? When VGS is 0 volts, Vp is 4 volts. But when VGS is minus 4 volts, what is Vp? Vp is 0. Vp is 0, which means what? In cutoff region, when VGS is minus of Vp, transistor is fully off. That is the meaning there. That is why this device is a voltage controlled device. There is no current at the input at all. We are going to control the switching of the JFET only using voltage, not using current. So this is a voltage controlled device. As VGS becomes more and more negative, Vp continues to drop in a parabolic manner and the device will be turned off when VGS equals minus Vp, resulting in IDS equals 0 milliampere, as both input and output junctions are reverse biased. Even input junction is reverse biased, output junction is reverse biased. And why it is called as a parabolic manner? You can see here, this change what is there here, this dashed line, this particular dashed line is like a parabola, which means this Vp is continuing to drop, means Vp is reducing when we are applying a negative gate voltage and in a parabolic manner, and in this condition Vp is becoming 0. Vp is becoming 0 because VGS is minus 4 volts. That is the idea here. That way this switch is a very beautiful switch. The pinch off voltage is negative for N channel and positive for P channel JFETs. Whatever I spoke till now, we are discussing N channel. So in this case, the pinch off voltage is negative. That means we can say that this Vp is nothing but minus 4 volts. I will show you. Here I told VDS is greater than mod of Vp. Why we told VDS is greater than mod of Vp? Because VDS is always positive, but Vp is now represented as negative. Why it is represented as negative? Because we are applying negative gate bias. Whenever apply a negative gate bias, when completely the switch turns off, even in spite of we giving VDS here, then it is called as switching off, and then that is why pinch off is negative. Pinch off voltage is negative. The region in between, I am unable to see this because of this Webex's window coming there. Okay, now I am able to see. The region in between the cutoff and saturation regions is called as ohmic region or voltage controlled resistance region. In the ohmic region, the current is due to drift, which is because of the applied voltage. That is when I told you this particular region is called as the ohmic region or the linear region. We also call it as linear region in MOSFET. Ohmic and linear one and the same. V equals I into R is nothing but ohmic also and linear also. Whereas the upper region here is called as the saturation region and the lower region is called as the cutoff region. Fine. There are too many students waiting in the lobby. Anyway, in between the region in between the cutoff and saturation region is called as the ohmic region or voltage controlled resistance region. Why? By means of applied voltage, we are controlling the resistance of the channel now. Actually, we are increasing the resistance of the channel by means of the reverse bias at the gate, because of which the drain current is getting reduced. That maximum drain current is getting reduced. In the ohmic region, the current is due to drift, which is because of the applied voltage itself. In the ohmic region, the JFET can be used as a voltage controlled resistor whose resistance is controlled by the applied VGS. The resistance value increases with more negative values of VGS and is given by an equation. This is the equation. Small rd equals small r naught divided by 1 minus VGS by Vp whole square. This was the law which the inventors of the FET invented. Inventor of the FET, they invented this law also. The drain resistance is equivalent to the output resistance divided by a particular term called 1 minus VGS by VP whole square. That's why this is called as a inverse square law. Why? The square is at the denominator. So at times such expressions are called as inverse square law. In the saturation region, pinch off causes IDS to become constant. This we have already discussed. Hence, the saturation region is also called as constant current region. The current in this region is not due to drift, but due to diffusion, which is because of the carrier concentration. This I have already told you. So, remember, in the ohmic region, it is called as a voltage controlled resistance region, where the channel will have a finite resistance. But in the saturation region, the resistance is really very high because the current is becoming almost constant and the horizontal line will have a very minimum slope as such. That is why it is called as a constant current region. Now, remember this slide. Until this slide, there is a portion for your test. Yesterday I told you in a slightly different way, but today I am telling you, I have already given you the question bank. This will be my last slide for today. Until this slide, whatever I have discussed, that is there for the internal test. So in the question bank, you can see the questions till this particular slide. Okay. No, I did not tell you to third sem. Sorry, I am getting confused. I told it to fifth semester, not to you people. Anyway, now we will compare BJT and JFET. Whatever I have told till now, I will quickly summarize. BJT is bipolar. It has got both electrons and holes. Whereas JFET is unipolar. It has got either electrons or holes. If it is a N-channel JFET, it is only electrons there. Conversely, it can be a P-channel JFET. I will show you here. Now, in this case, here this can be P and outside around the device it can be N. Then we call it as a P-channel device. In that case, the directions of all the power supplies will be opposite side. But then also we will use it as a switch. So, in a P-channel device, holes are the carriers. In a N-channel device, electrons are the carriers. There will not be any gate current at all here. That is why this device is unipolar. So, JFET is unipolar, either electrons or holes. BJT can be either NPN or PNP, where JFET can be either N-channel or P-channel. And BJT is a current control device where there is a linear transfer curve, whereas JFET is a voltage control device where there is a non-linear transfer curve. That is why you saw that parabolic change in the pinch of voltage. And in BJT, we use the terminologies emitter, base and collector, because emitter emits electrons, collector collects electrons. In JFET, it is called a source, drain and gate, because source sources electrons and drain drains out the electrons. Both mean the same. Emitter, collector, source, drain, all that mean the same. But the thing is, the scientists who invented these devices are two different teams who did not know each other at all at that time. So they kept the names in that manner. Now in BJT, we have a cutoff region, we have an active region, we have a saturation region. In the cutoff region, switch is fully off. In the saturation region, switch is fully on. In the active region, the switch is half on. Conversely, in JFET, we have a cutoff region, we have a saturation region, we have an ohmic region. In the cutoff region, switch is fully off. In the ohmic region, switch is fully on. And in the saturation region, switch is half on. So why it is called as saturation when it is half on? Because current is saturated there, current is becoming constant there. That is why it is called as saturation. Here in BJT, why is it called as saturation? Because the current is maximum there. Collector current will be maximum, that is at the end of the load line in the y-axis there. And across the transistor, there will not be any voltage across it. We can say that VCE sat is almost 0 volts. When the transistor is saturated, across the collector to emitter it is almost 0 volts. That is why we call it as saturation. We say switch is fully on. Whereas in case of JFET, They called it as ohmic region there because in the output curve, they can measure the slope. There can be a finite resistance because of the N channel there. That is why they call it as ohmic region. Here they call it as saturation because current is becoming constant. Now in BJT, emitter and collector are physically different. Emitter is heavily doped and it is a medium area, whereas collector is medium doped and it is large area. So emitter and collector cannot be interchanged in BJT. They are physically different. This you can try out when you come back to the college. In the lab you can try out in an experiment. When you connect a transistor, after the experiment is over, you switch off the power supply, connect the transistor in a reverse way. Wherever collector is there, connect emitter. Wherever emitter is there, connect collector. Again you switch it on, the circuit will not work properly. Because emitter and collector are physically different, they cannot be interchanged. Whereas in JFET, source and drain are physically identical. Why? Source and drain are physically identical. Why? Because the source and drain are only two terminals. You can see here, the source and drain are only two terminals, they are not regions. In between them, there is a continuous N-type semiconductor. So, even if this terminal is connected upside, even if this terminal is connected downside, it doesn't make a difference at all. It will work fine as the earlier case. That is why in case of JFET, source and drain are physically identical, they are interchangeable. What you can do is when you come back, you can contact me, I will give you one BJT, I will give you one JFET. And you conduct experiment as a switching circuit for BJT also, for JFET also. Then you physically interchange collector and emitter, find out what happens with the switching circuit, and you physically interchange source and drain in case of JFET and find out what is happening to the switching circuit. I will be able to physically demonstrate this particular thing when you come back to the college and when you start attending the lab classes. But until then, you will have to remember this, whatever I have told you. Only if you remember whatever I told you, then when you come back, you will ask me. Okay. Now, this is my last slide for today. Till this slide, there is a portion for the test. And prepare well and give the test well. I wish you all the best. I am ending the class now. I will wait for 1 or 2 minutes. If at all you have any questions, you can put me in the chat box or you can unmute and ask me. Okay. My students are really very clever. Instead of unmuting, instead of asking, instead of putting in the chat box, they are leaving the meeting itself. Anyway, let it be. If you people are leaving the meeting, then I will also end the meeting.